All right, today we're cracking open a book that's less of a self-help guide and more like a workbook for your own personal jailbreak. It's intense, it's pretty provocative, and it all starts with one simple question. Are you tired of being less than you could be?
This opening line isn't just a promise, it's a direct challenge. It sets the stage for a journey that, you'll see, isn't about self-improvement in the usual sense. It's really about a kind of self-destruction.
So, this whole process kicks off with a pretty jarring diagnosis of, well, us. According to the author, our main problem isn't that we need a few tweaks here and there. The problem is that most of us aren't even awake.
Yeah, you heard that right, robots. The book claims that the personality you think is so unique, your beliefs, your automatic reactions, none of it was actually chosen by you. It's all just the result of a random program, a mishmash of genetics, chance, and culture that you've mistaken for your true self.
The book makes this really powerful and, let's be honest, kind of insulting comparison. It argues that we're basically operating like conditioned chimpanzees, just running on automatic, unconscious reflexes. And this is set against what we could be, a real human, someone who's actually conscious, aware, and in the driver's seat of their own mind.
So why don't we notice that we're asleep? Well, the book's introduction calls it a narcissistic self-hypnosis. It's like we've convinced ourselves that we're totally free and in charge, but it's all just a story we're telling ourselves. The very first step, then, is to somehow snap out of that trance.
Okay, so if we're all asleep in a cage made of our own conditioning, you gotta ask, right? Who are the jailers? What's out there working to keep us in this robotic state?
The book boils it down to this one core idea it calls the maladaptive fallacy. This is the deep-seated belief that people are just born no damn good. And once you believe that we're all inherently sinful or sick, well, that's the perfect justification for creating all sorts of systems to control us and fix us. And the book points to a whole bunch of these control systems. Things like dogma junkies, who push rigid beliefs on everyone. Big societal mythologies that tell us what's good and evil, and even our own ego. It even goes so far as to call the idea of original sin the original lie, a convenient story to keep us manageable and asleep.
So, if we're basically programmed robots locked in a cage, what's the escape plan? The book's solution is, to say the least, a radical one.
And here's the biggest plot twist of all. The book's whole point is that there's no one else to blame. You aren't just the prisoner in this scenario. You're also the guard, and you're the jail itself. Real freedom only starts when you accept that you're an active participant in your own confinement.
And that brings us to the main event, undoing yourself. This has nothing to do with becoming a better version of who you are now. Nope, this is about demolition. It's the process of systematically tearing down all the conditioned patterns, habits, and beliefs that you've mistaken for you, all to see what's actually left underneath.
So how in the world do you perform this demolition? By turning yourself into a laboratory. The book calls this the lab, which is just a way of saying you treat your own life like a big experiment. You become the scientist and the test subject. And the whole point is to poke and prod at your own programming to find out what's real and what's not.
So what does this experimentation, this undoing process, actually look like in practice? Well, the book suggests it's probably not what you're thinking. Let's face it, the word work just sounds like a drag, right? So the book flips the script and calls it hard play. The idea is to go at this process of brain change with the same kind of passion you'd have for your favorite sport. It's going to be challenging, for sure, but it should also be engaging, creative, and maybe even a little fun. And the book gets very specific, with concrete physical techniques. This is just a little taste from one of the methods. The logic here is that our conditioning isn't just in our heads, it's stored in our bodies as physical tension. The author literally says, tension is thought, thought is tension. So these weird-looking physical exercises are designed to break those patterns right where they live, in your muscles.
And what's the one ultimate secret to making any of this actually stick? Well, the introduction jokingly reveals the most profound secret of the Illuminati, and it's breathtakingly simple. Do it every day. Consistency is everything. It's not about one huge heroic effort, but the slow, steady power of doing it again and again and again. All right. This entire journey, from diagnosing our sleepwalking state to identifying the jailers, to starting the work of undoing, it all builds up to one final, really provocative question about power, control, and ownership.
So the book ultimately lays out this choice between three different models. In Model 1, God owns you, and your default state is sinful. In Model 2, society owns you, and your state is sick. But then there's Model 3, the path of the cyber shaman, which offers a radical alternative, that you can own yourself. And in this model, your state isn't predefined as bad. It's a question mark. It's something for you to discover.
And that's really what this whole explainer and the entire book boils down to. It's the one question that undoing yourself leaves you with. After you strip away the programming, after you break the conditioning, and after you step out of the cage, who's in charge then? Who owns you?